Every agent at some point in time has asked the question, should I join a team or should I go solo? Particularly when that agent is just starting out. In this video, I'm going to go over the pros and cons of either, because the reality is there's no right or wrong answer. It's just about figuring out which answer works best for you, what you're looking to accomplish in your career. Can a team actually solve those problems, or would a solo career help you get closer to actually what you're trying to accomplish? Hey, my name is Borr. If you haven't yet done so already, please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like this video and click that little bell icon, and that way you'll get notified whenever a new video comes out. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to break down the pros of joining a team. By far, the greatest pro of joining a real estate team will be the training and education that they provide. If you know which steps you need to take to actually grow your career, there's nothing really better than that, as long as you're willing to actually go ahead and do the work. But if you are willing to go ahead and do the work, and a team is able to provide the education and the training to tell you what needs to happen to get you closer to where you want to be, that's really all you can hope for. And then that way the ball's in your court. So that's by far going to be the greatest asset, the greatest advantage of actually joining a team versus going solo. Second pro of joining a team doesn't necessarily apply to every team out there, but that is the leads that they may provide to you. So not every team obviously is going to generate leads for you. However, the ones that will give you business to go out every single day so that you never have to wake up in the morning and think, how do I generate leads today? It's really simple. Just go ahead and nurture and follow up with those leads that have already been generated for you. Now, here's a caveat though. The leads that are generated, usually as internet leads, are not super high quality. Really, it's not the lead generation that's going to do it for you to make your business. It's the way that you nurture and follow up with those leads, because they're not much easier than cold calling leads, right? Cold calling FSBO leads, cold calling expired leads are also going to generate business for you. Yes, it's a little bit harder, but most of the work when it comes to turning a lead generated into a lead converted into a lead closed is actually going to be the work that you're doing to actually follow up and nurture those leads. So yes, leads generated by a brokerage and by a team are still very beneficial. However, the caveat is to understand that there's still a lot of work to convert those leads. So if you're going to join a team just for that reason, I wouldn't advise it, but it is still a nice pro, so we're going to add it to the list. And the third and final advantage that we're going to talk about in this video is that you get to learn from a team before you actually go ahead and go your own way anyway. So a lot of the time, agents want to join a team so that they can learn and then develop their own solo career afterwards. That also totally works. And joining a team beforehand puts you in a great position to be able to actually go ahead and create a successful solo career afterwards. But being a part of a team and seeing what they've done, it allows you to kind of step away from the pressures of trying to build your own successes. It doesn't really matter. It removes all of that stress. You just watch what they're doing, watch what other people have done and what they're doing to generate that success. And then when you go ahead and you decide that you want to start your own solo team, you've got all of the information from all of your years or at least months watching people who are already successful, and you just got to replicate exactly what they've already done. Now let's get to the cons. One of the biggest cons of joining a team is that you really have to share a lot of your commission. Different teams are structured differently. However, you may have to relinquish up to 50% or more of your commissions, and you don't really have to work a lot less hard to generate your transactions just because you're in a team. And so sometimes it might feel a little bit off that you're sharing 50% of your commissions when really you work just as hard as you would have if you were a solo agent. Another con of joining a team versus going solo is that all of the work that you're doing to build a brand is being done to build someone else's brand, right? The team name. So even if you're creating videos, you still have to put the team name in all of your videos instead of building your own personal brand. At least that's usually the way it works. And so you may be posting consistently onto social media, right? Doing a lot of YouTube work, getting your name out there. Even the signage in front of the houses has the team name on it. And really all of that work that you're doing could be serving yourself as an agent and yourself as a brand, but that's not really the way it works when you're on a team. When you're on a team, your marketing and your branding efforts are all for the collective, and that could be a little bit frustrating if you're doing a really good job of building your brand. And so that's something to consider, is that you're going to be working really hard, but all of that hard work will be done to promote somebody else's business. It will still benefit you, obviously, but not the same as if you were solo. Another con of joining a team is that it does start to build reliance. At a certain point, let's say if you've been on a team for a couple of years, you may be so used to leads being generated into your inbox that by the time you do decide to go solo, you're not really going to know where to start. And so obviously the easy solution is, I'll just stay on my team. Things are all right here. It does build that reliance, and it's harder to break that cycle that when you decide that you do want to go solo, thinking of all of the barriers that you're going to have to overcome to actually break out into a solo career, it might be a lot harder once you're used to being a part of a team than if you were to just start out solo from the beginning. The biggest asset that you're going to be able to build for yourself is your brand. And when you're a solo agent, all of those branding efforts are serving your yourself as an agent and yourself as a brand, which will benefit you a lot more in the long run. So as a solo agent, all of the work that you're doing to build that brand, that will start to snowball into something magical. And the longer you have to work on that brand, the more success you're going to see in the long run. And that really does start to grow exponentially. So in my mind, by far, the biggest pro of going solo is that all of the work that you're doing at the beginning will continue to serve you. And just like investing, the longer you have to spend investing, the greater your return on investment is going to be in the long run. Same thing with branding. The more time you have to work on your brand, the greater your return on investment is going to be, meaning the greater your brand is going to be and the more well-known it's going to be. The next pro of going solo is because you don't have to share all of your commissions, there's a lot more opportunity to be a lot more successful, right? It's a lot easier to make a lot more money when you're not sharing 50% of every transaction. So if you're the kind of agent that's a go-getter, that can generate leads by yourself, that can get transactions, that can push it over the line, that's a great negotiator, a great people person, and you're a hard worker, if you're able to do all of that, then sharing 50% of your commissions just doesn't make sense, because right out of the gate, you can make twice as much money just by going solo. But again, the caveat here is it's a lot more work to generate your own business. There's less support, but if you're okay with all of that, then you can really make a lot more money if you're going solo. Next and final pro that I'm going to talk about is that however you look at it, whether you join a team or you go solo, real estate is a lot of work. It's not like joining a team is like a simple way to success, but going solo is really difficult. They're both really difficult. Yeah, you've got some support, you've got some education if you're a part of a team, but at the end of the day, you're going to be working really, really hard however you look at it. Yeah, if you're going solo, you don't have a brand to lean on yet necessarily, yes, but we'll get there. The point is that you're still going to be having to call. You're still going to be nurturing your database. You're still going to be calling your sphere of influence. Because it's so much work, you may as well just kind of keep more of that for yourself so that you can not only build your brand in the long run, but make more money while you're doing it. Now let's get to the cons of going solo. The first one I want to talk about is that everything is self-directed, right? When you're a solo agent, you wake up in the morning, you figure out what needs to happen to move your business forward, right? You're setting your own hours. It requires a lot more discipline, both mentally, emotionally. It requires a lot more accountability because there's no one in your personal network right there, right? It's your business. You are the sole proprietor of your business, and it's your responsibility to do everything that happens there afterwards. So not only are you going to have to work hard, obviously, but you're going to have to direct your decisions. And that kind of direction, that kind of knowledge about what happens next, that could be provided to you if you were to join a team, right? They could provide a schedule of things that you should be doing. They're generating leads for you. But when you're a solo agent, you got to figure out all of that stuff for yourself, which there's a lot of resources online. Particularly on this YouTube channel, there's a lot of resources, but there's a lot of resources all over the place. However, it's one thing to see something on YouTube and know what to do in your head. It's another thing to be able to direct every single decision in your day-to-day life, and it's not for everybody. And so one of the cons of being a solo agent is that every single decision that you make in your business is entirely your own decision, and that kind of self-direction may not necessarily be for everybody. The other con is, just like I said beforehand, that being a solo agent is a lot of work and joining a team is a lot of work. However, it is more work being a solo agent because everything you're doing is from scratch, right? You're calling FSBOs, you're calling expireds, you're cold calling, you're reaching out to your database. You don't really have as much of a brand to lean on. So yes, you're working hard whether or not you're a solo agent or you're part of a team, but it is more work when you are a solo agent because you're trying to build something up from nothing. And it's a lot easier to build something up that a foundation has already been set than it is to build something where there's no foundation, no knowledge, no brand, no nothing. And then the final con, which is certainly not one to be underestimated, is that being a solo agent is very isolating and lonely. Honestly, being an agent in a team is isolating and lonely a lot of the time. Entrepreneurship, real estate in general is lonely. Yes, you can have a support system around you, whether or not you're a solo agent or an agent as part of a team, but it is very isolating when you're a solo agent because all of these decisions that are being made on how to move your business forward, everything that you're doing, all of your actions, it's all yourself. In conclusion, there are so many factors to consider to decide whether or not joining a team is right for you or going solo is right for you. Here's just a few of them. But in reality, what needs to happen is a lot of self-introspection, a lot of research, a lot of speaking to people to see what does a team offer. Each individual team also offers different advantages. And so do those advantages help get me closer to where I want to be in the long run, or just going solo help me get closer to where I want to be in the long run? Like I said, these are just a few of the factors to consider. However, I hope it gave you some kind of direction or at least some insight about how to think about this question so that you can make the right decision for yourself in your business. Once again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet done so already. And also don't forget to like the video and click that little bell icon to get notified whenever a new video comes out. We'll see you in the next video.